This is the Variety Sports Network, created for the fans, by the fans. Now to your host of tonight's show.
And we are live here on Talkin the Gridiron, Week 7 edition here, brought to you here by Row 1 Brand in the Clutch Studio. My team, the Raiders, did not come up clutch today. Terrell wearing them there, shouted me out a little bit. I appreciate that. But we will put them to bed and we will properly rip that team later in the show. But with that said, I'd be remiss. I got Brian, the main man Johnson, with me from the TMB podcast here on Variety Sports Network. I got back on the show here, Terrell Jenkins from Morellism Sports. We both came up a little weak today. Tyler shouting him out. Terrell, he's back in there. T giving him a little shout out there. And then for the first time here on Talkin the Gridiron, you've maybe seen him here on the Sunday morning tailgate here on Variety Sports Network. Jordan Maxon, how we doing, my friend?
Doing well, sir. How are we?
Doing good. Like I said before we came on, it's only proper. Jimmy couldn't make the show tonight under the weather. We got a Bengals fan, Bing, just like that, to hop on. And Brian, it's just like that, right?
Oh, man. The nightmare doesn't end for me.
And
We're always here.
Play the Niners next week, right? Is it next week?
The Niners next week, baby, at 4:30.
Oh, boy. Oh,
Bengals Super Bowl, baby.
I look forward to that Week 8 matchup there. So we'll get a lot to get into with it here. Like I said, we're joined by you guys here. Shout out to our guy, Jimmy Pilato. Hope you're feeling a little better, my friend here. All right, we got a lot to get into. When I looked at the schedule, I was like, it's not like the greatest games of all. There's a couple out there, but it turned out to be some pretty good games this weekend when you look at it. I'm going to start. These were my games of the day. You guys shout out if you have any thoughts on it. Let's start with the game I was not expecting to be as entertaining as it was with Browns-Colts. Browns end up winning 38-33. Shout out my guy Doug here on the network here. As Browns get the W. Maybe some controversial calls there, Terrell, at the end of the game. Let's start with you, Terrell. What do you make of the Browns pulling out a 38 win? But it doesn't even feel like their offense deserves 38.
I mean, I'm looking at it like I saw Deshaun Watson fall down, get back up.
Yeah.
Fall down again, sit on the sidelines. And I don't know how they scored so many points because Ford barely ran the ball, but still put up numbers. And it seemed like all the highlights were Gardner Minshew doing the shimmies in the end zone. I mean, I don't know what's going on. Taylor seemed like he's coming back around. Very entertaining game. And Myles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year. Go ahead.
Beast. Absolute beast there. Jordan, let's go with you, Dexter. What do you think of the game there? They're in your division, obviously, with the Bengals there. What do you make of the Browns? And the thing with Terrell pointed out with Minshew, he does the little shimmy, feeling himself a little bit there. What do you kind of make of the Browns pulling that out? And this, I don't get Watson's struggles as much. I mean, I'm not saying this guy's a great guy by any means, but I still thought he was better than this. Is it the Browns uniform? My gosh, he looks pathetic out there.
I mean, I don't think it's the Browns uniform because you look at everybody else that's played under center this year and they haven't had half the issues. I think it's a Deshaun Watson thing. And you're looking at the ring rust. I mean, he did have a year off last year. We got to kind of keep that into effect. He still hasn't played a lot of reps. He's battling injuries. Whether or not it's people say it's softness, but coming from the AFC South to the AFC North is a whole different ballgame. And I don't think he's quite adjusted to the division yet.
Brian, your thoughts on the Colts and they're rocking their new uniforms as well? They have a way of the Colts, kind of with Terrell, our team, have a chance there to kind of make a little jump there with that win. They end up losing a pretty big win for the Browns if you look at it from a standing standpoint.
Yes.
See how it goes from there. They go to 4-2. PJ Walker time. I mean, he's on fire. He beats the Niners and comes in and beats the Colts. Sorry, I had to get that in there, Brian.
Yeah, I just feel like this defense could carry them to a lot of wins this year. I mean, they're absolutely legit. I mean,
what did you think of Myles Garrett jumping over the line, blocking a field goal? My gosh, that was like Madden S trying to tie. I know I've seen it, but the one that always comes to my mind is Polamalu when he jumped over the line there that one time. But that was completely different. He just kind of he stayed on his feet. He got over. So we all think he's Defensive Player of the Year right now by far.
By far.
TJ Watt doesn't get a vote.
He's 2.
TJ Watt gets votes, but I mean, TJ Watt's not carrying a team. Myles Garrett is the heart of Cleveland right now, and you can't put on that.
Especially if they keep winning, right? That's the part of it. That's the main part of it. So I would say Go ahead, Jordan. Go ahead.
They look like the early 2000s Ravens right now. A quarterback that can manage the game and a good running.
So the Colts, they fall to third place with that. Browns still in third place, but tied with the Steelers 4-2. All right. That one kind of caught my eye just because I wasn't expecting it at all for game of the day, but it was a pretty good finish there at the end. Other one I got, this one was a pretty good finish, 12 seconds left. Mac Johnson, we constantly rip on Noodle Arm, but he got the job done today. Mac Attack. He comes up.
I was more mad than anything else because I took the Bills in survival football. And my survival football came to a crashing end today.
Man, that was. I mean, I just found it funny that all right, so you got the big Bama win this weekend. You got the two quarterbacks going out, and then of course Mac Jones wins today as well. The return of the Mac, yes, it is.
What a weird team are the Bills. I mean, they should be performing a lot better, but they're just not showing up to games.
Brian, I think that's well said. Let's start there with it. What is up with the Bills? Terrell, this was my Super Bowl pick at the beginning of the year, and I'm not really sure don't feel any confidence in that pick, obviously. They're just so up and down. You cannot be like that and obviously win playoff games. They're going to have to figure out something that they can put their hat on, but I know this guy doesn't mean it when he tweets it fully yet, but I know he's a Carson. He used to be an Eagles fan, so he says Allen kind of reminds him of Wentz at moments with how sporadic he gets. But I get it. But he is kind of weird like that though. He'll have these moments where you're like, what the heck is this guy thinking? He's not Wentz, but he feels like he has these just out of pocket moments where you're like, who is this guy? That's I think what his point is with it. So what do you kind of make of the struggles Allen has? And he did come back in that final drive, gave them the lead, but he just still the Bills just couldn't I just feel like they don't put their hat on something. What do you think of that?
Well, if we're going to compare Josh Allen's struggles, please give him some respect and not say Wentz.
I've compared him. It's not even close. He's way better.
He's like one of the gunslingers like Brett Favre, who will make the magical plays. And they're going to make the bonehead plays. Because if we really think about it, Brett Favre could have went to 3 different Super Bowls with 3 different teams. He blew with the Jets, and we already know what happened with the Vikings when he went across his body to throw an interception. That's Josh Allen. They're going to make those plays or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the Bills. But before we get to that, can I say something about Mac Jones?
Yeah.
Brian. You realize the 49ers were supposed to draft Mac Jones instead of Trey Lance. But social media and everything else made the 49ers like, oh, my God, we got to take the cleanest toy, the happiest toy. Mac Jones would have led y'all to a Super Bowl last year.
You believe that?
I don't buy into that. No way.
No, I'm not.
Brock Purdy, Mac Jones?
I'd say Purdy's way better than Mac Jones.
Because he's with the 49ers. If he was with the Patriots, he would have been doing the same thing that Mac Jones doing.
I gotta say that's crazy, dude. That to me is whack. I can't believe that at all. You would think that Brock Purdy, Mac Jones is not that great. Noodle Arm is better than Purdy. I don't know.
I mean, I couldn't sleep the night before because I thought Shanny was definitely going to take Mac Jones. I was like, I thought about it all night. I was like, why would you take him? We have Jimmy Garoppolo. I didn't get it.
He did not want. So, what do you think, Jordan? You believe that? You think that?
No, I don't believe that for a second. I believe Brock Purdy has a much higher football IQ than Mac Jones does. Purdy doesn't make the mistakes. He plays within his limits, and he understands what he has to do every Sunday. Mac Jones, to me, goes out and tries to play above and beyond his means, and that's what costs him in the long run.
And this is the first game, Terrell, though. Go ahead, Terrell.
Yes, nobody else team.
I mean,
and he just beat the Bills. With no one.
I need to see it again.
Elliott scored a touchdown.
I need to see it again. He's had too many terrible performances. He hasn't even been mid.
All I'm saying is, to be fair, if we switched the quarterbacks for these past 2 years,
that's possible. But I'm not going to say they win it. I'm not saying the Niners go as far.
Nobody knew who the hell Brock Purdy was.
So you're saying that Mac Jones wouldn't have shredded his UCL in that play? He probably would have done the same thing.
He thinks he's out too. One win doesn't change things. That's what he's going. I mean, I'll give him this. It was an impressive end of the drive. He showed me something like maybe he's got some life in him a little bit. Let's see what he does next week. That's where I'm coming from with it. But I hear you. That's been some talk. I know that was part of the talk last week with it, with Mac Jones. Bill does get that 300th win with them.
I want to see. I was hoping for a little bit more emotion from him. I mean,
oh, what a shock!
He got an extension. He got an extension tonight.
I mean, give Bill some credit. He's been under a lot of scrutiny the last couple of weeks.
So. He got an extension.
I heard that he did get an extension.
We thought he might be fired after this year.
Nah, that showed that.
Or I heard a rumor that he would have took over for Brian Daybell with the Giants because everybody wanted him to go to the Giants, and then somehow they would have drafted Caleb.
That's a rumor if I've ever heard one. That is a rumor if I've ever heard one right there, Johnson. That is a good one. So I think from out of this game, all right, so from what you guys say, Terrell believes one of my favorite facts, so we switched out with the Niners. That's good. But Mac Jones, I still believe you think the Patriots obviously are a terrible football team. And the Bills. Yeah. So it sounds like, Jordan, let me ask you this. You're kind of – I haven't quite got your whole full opinion on the Bills yet. Do you see them as still like a top – are they still top 3 basically AFC contender even with the struggles you're seeing early on?
I wouldn't put them top 3. I definitely put them in a top 5. I think they're just too inconsistent. I mean – Josh and what he does in the postseason speaks for himself. You know, He puts up amazing stats. He has a good teammate around him. He has Stephon Diggs there. You know, question mark whether or not they really have chemistry, but you know they seem to get their stats, but it never pans out in the win column when the lights get bright. So they're top 5 definitely because of a talented team that they have, and you know we'll see if Vaughn can get back to himself coming off ACL surgery. I know he's been on a pitch count, but we'll see if they can turn the corner. But definitely pretty much a shitty performance today. So
and they could easily be 3-4, obviously, with that Giants performance last week. I mean, that's the other one that kind of where you're kind of looking at them as well. All right, so I have those as game of the day. Bills, they end up getting that loss to the Patriots. We'll see if that kind of affects how that affects the standings moving forward on a loss with that. All right, best of the rest here, just in terms of finishes. I have an ugly game, but the Falcons somehow pull out a W against the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers cannot run the football. Their life depended on it. They get the longest run of the season was a Mayfield run today at the end of the game. What a stride this guy has running down the field. He looked terrible today. I mean, give the Falcons defense some credit. They showed up. They made up for another terrible performance by Ritter, who just seems to go. They showed it during the graphic. At least 2 interceptions, 2 turnovers, and nothing. Then so this week he was due for a bad game. He fumbles the ball 3 times, and then that one killer one when you're at the 1-yard line and it goes out of bounds for the touchback. Can't have those. They end up winning 16-3. It's just kind of just a crazy game overall. Jordan, do you believe in the Falcons at all, or not? Are you out on them? To me, they're just one of the weirdest teams so far in the league.
I believe
doesn't even play. It freaking kills my fantasy team. Sorry, I had to get that out.
No, I believe in the Falcons as a team. I don't believe in Desmond Ritter. I believe if the Falcons were serious here before the trade deadline, I would be burning Chicago's phone, or I would be looking around the league and see if I can get another quarterback under center, because they have too much talent on the defensive side of the ball for them to be playing this.
He's 4-3 though, Terrell. He's 4-3 though. He keeps getting those W's. That means next week he's 4-4, right?
That's
of course.
What do you think of Bijan not playing much? Was that an injury thing, or is that they something happened?
That cost me my fantasy game.
Me too.
I mean, they've been doing that all year, and I don't know. Cordell Patterson had I believe 10 touches today. I don't understand.
I
agree with this statement I saw on Instagram where the guy said Arthur Smith should be fired for the way he's using Bijan.
Brian, I always like how you use our main source, Instagram.org. That is one of the go-to.
9 days left. 9 days left. 9 days left.
That's
the Falcons go trade and get Kirk Cousins.
Kirk doesn't want to get traded. We discussed that last week. News and notes. He doesn't want to get traded.
He knows he's going to be gone after this year anyway. He's going to go play with those toys they got in Atlanta.
Not bad. I mean, I guess it would be what the Vikings want to give, or what are they asking for? I guess I haven't heard any rumors yet.
Anything's better than nothing. He's going to be gone after this year. So
I 4-3 says, and they're right there in the hunt in a pathetic division, like we kind of all said, but it's like a mid division. It's as mid as it gets. Like it's right there.
Get Kirk Cousins.
And Ritter just if I was a fan of that team, that has got to be a stressful team to watch, even when you're winning games 4-3 right there. You have no belief in that. The Bucks, is that kind of put an end to their kind of little fairy tale a little bit here in Jordan? Or you got over them, or have you always been over them?
No, I'm not over the Bucks at all. I think that if you develop kind of a run game and get it going, I mean, it's Baker's first year in that system. Look for him to get better. Way too much talent.
Yeah, no, I hear you. They got, and that I love Evans still. He's like one of my favorite players on the team. Though Brian Buck's dead. Your boy is Casey's boy, Baker Potatoes. You still give him a chance. What do you got?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just this feels like a game he should have won.
No, this definitely is a game they should have beat at home. You got to win this game. All right, let's keep it moving. There's a team up there. I don't have a Commanders hat. Sorry there, Terrell, or even a Redskins hat. I know that's another team we like to still shout out on this show. Best of the rest, Giants, in just a ugly NFC East game. I like the uniforms that the Giants were wearing. Do not like the uniforms your Commanders wear in a matchup like that. Would like to see the old school if we could get it. But with that said, the Giants offense end a horrendous streak of 205 minutes without scoring a touchdown, and they do it against your Commanders. Terrell, I'll give you the floor there with it first. I mean, they said it early, it's going to be defensive game. That's got to be a frustrating game to watch from your side.
I mean, it's what it is. That's what Washington does. These are letdown games after you get a win, and we bow down to whoever we play. I mean, we gave Chicago their first win, and now we make the Giants look like they actually are somebody, and they're not. I mean, they got 5 sacks for this whole season. This game they had 6.
Crazy.
Hats off to Jonathan Allen for just going off on that team.
Yes, yes, sir.
I was watching that. Who went off on him?
Jonathan Allen went off in the press conference.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He was really upset.
What was he saying, bro? Like, just kind of saying
he's like F
same
bombs,
old stuff,
man.
7 years, the same old trash.
All right, you got to enjoy that if you're a fan of that team. Hearing that stuff coming from him.
I do.
So, what's the problem with this? I mean, I know with me as a Raiders fan, it's easy to say quarterback, but is it just the whole organization still? Is that what the main thing is? It's just like from the inside out, basically, they kill themselves?
Exactly, yeah. We have a whole mystique and everything aura about us is always mediocre or ready to blow up or do something wrong. You know what I mean? We need to get rid of Ron Rivera. He needs to be gone and get the change in culture. I mean, Eric Bieniemy demands better from his players, and our players were crying before the season started about, he's working me too hard. Oh, my God. You get paid millions of dollars. Run. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's crazy. Magic's in the press box demanding more. The next 2 to 3 years I'm excited for about the whole culture change.
Jordan,
I feel like Ron Rivera was overrated as a coach. He had that one great year with Cam Newton, and it's just I don't know.
Well, he's like a tough-minded coach, right? Like that's I mean, it's hard to believe he went to Cal out here, Brian Cal Berkeley. He's a Cal guy, Cal grad. But yeah, no, I also think with the Giants though, I don't. It almost looks like they actually look a little better with Taylor. I don't know. They look a little bit more, and I don't know. What do you think there, Jordan?
I think they look a lot better with Taylor. You saw Darren Waller actually kind of be a little bit of what we're used to seeing from him.
He's alive.
Big touchdowns, 96 yards, a touchdown. A lot of them were on third downs. So I think they look a lot better, considering that he's kind of the only weapon they have. They don't really have anything to the outside. And Tyrod Taylor brings that kind of game management that they desperately need. So where Daniel Jones was kind of like turning the ball over, throwing it into the dirt, really not performing. Looks frustrated. Tyrod Taylor looks like a guy that kind of a couple of years ago, I'd say 2 or 3.
How many wins does he need, Taylor, you guys, for him to put some pressure on Joe? To me, it's like that's where that win for him last week would have mattered so much. Because in NFL world, 2 in a row, the coach starts thinking he's dead, right? They're not paying a 40-year-old meal. But the coach, if he wins, it's like, and Jones sucks. I mean, I'm sorry. I just don't feel like he's any good. I'm sorry, Giants fans. I don't believe in him at all. Like Terrell, you feel the same way, right? About Jones or no?
I do, but I don't think it matters what Tyrod Taylor does. Yeah. They paid him. They're going to play him this year, at least. But Daniel Jones is Jamie Foxx. from any given Sunday. He must be some prima donna Aaron Rodgers type personality in there without the talent of Aaron Rodgers. And they let his butt get beat up every week, getting sacked to sack. Rodgers, receivers are looking good. Everybody's jumping up and down. Everybody's demeanor looks way more elevated when he's in there. Daniel Jones is a prima donna that they want to get beat up.
And of course, Tyler with a cheap shot. Don't let the Chargers doctor get anywhere near Taylor. Of course, we got Tyler always going with the cheap shot. We got to throw him out there right there. Brian, what were you going to say there about the Giants there?
Yeah, I mean, the more he wins, it's hard to go back to Daniel Jones because Daniel Jones has been such a disaster.
But the money, right, Jordan? That's got to be that's got to be the main reason, right? Like that's a lot of money.
Besides there's really not another reason to stick to him unless they're tanking for a pick at this point.
What a tough position. That's the only thing good about the coach. You're like, well, I know we're paid a lot, but he just sucks so much. We got to take him out. Like everybody agreed with that at the beginning of the year. The Barkley thing, that's kind of killed them a little bit here too. Their defense shows some spurts, so they got a little life there. All right, let's go a little West Coast here. Best of the rest. And we'll get question of the week here brought to you by Row One Brand. Chiefs beat the Chargers again, 31-17. Kansas City moves to 6-1 again in that division, going to win it. It doesn't, it's just like clockwork over there. Is it as simple as firing the coach for the Chargers, or is there a bigger issue? We kind of talked about that, right, Terrell, with our teams that we like. The Chargers are, I would say, obviously that step or two above our teams, but they're also a step below those top teams. So I feel like they're in this weird mark. Do you think it's as simple as firing this guy who I think obviously does lack a little management skills, obviously, as a head coach? Or do you think there's something bigger here? I mean, and I also just want to say that Allen, if he was healthy, he's a great receiver for the Chargers. I just love that guy for him. But go ahead.
He's probably one of the most underrated receivers in NFL history. I mean, really, if we think about it, you know what I mean? Yeah. If you'd asked me this question 2 weeks ago, I would have said yes. But watching the team the past couple of weeks, and I love Herbert, but now I'm starting to be like,
no,
you really didn't do it in college either. You look like the quote unquote specimen of what a quarterback is supposed to look like, but you haven't really been. I think the coach has a big part of it, but I'm worried about Herbert.
Do you think it's worried because of the coach, or because of the well, that's what I'm saying. I'm kind of sensing that same thing. Everybody's like, oh, this is the next guy, but then it's like, okay, well, kind of like I felt like with your guy with Burrow a little bit to start the year, like he kind of just felt a little bit off. Is there like something that's like, is it just kind of a little slump, or like he's still a stud, right? Like, I don't know. Like those are the two guys I kind of grouped together. Go ahead, Charles.
He is. I think in both situations, they need to have somebody in the locker room that can humble them.
Yeah.
These both just got paid, and they're young and haven't won. I mean, I know Burrow's got there, but I feel like somebody in the locker room needs to be there. Veterans that can say enough's enough.
That's fair. What do you think of that, Jordan?
I think it's completely the head coach. I mean, you look at today's game, you're down one score, and it was 3rd and 5. It was an incomplete pass. 4th and 5 with under 6 minutes left in the game, and you punt the ball back to Patrick Mahomes. You should be fired for that alone. I mean, that is just embarrassing. They came right down the field and made it a 2-score game. Everybody in the stadium knew that was going to happen. The minute you didn't try for it, it just like the Chargers, they just don't want to win. You just see that week in and week out on short yardage situations where they're kind of down or they could put it away, and they just do something boneheaded like that. I mean, Mahomes is already over 300 yards passing, and you give him the ball with 5 minutes left. To me, you got to go for it, and that's I don't understand it. That's some soft coaching. You can't win with that mentality. So I think it's 100% a coaching issue.
Maybe he don't have confidence in that quarterback.
Probably not.
This
is 5 yards. I mean, no.
Exactly.
They even come after the punt. Even if you didn't have, confidence in that, run a fake punt. Be aggressive. It's the NFL, not for long league. And, he keeps coaching like that. He doesn't need to be around.
I think this got to be the end of it. This got to be his end of his last tenure here. I mean, this got to be it.
I think part of it's the ownership because I used to live in San Diego. I dealt with the Chargers, and this owner that they have is just, he doesn't make the right calls on things. And they had 3 or 4 opportunities to keep them in San Diego, and he kept denying the opportunities. And then they ended up moving to LA, which burned a bridge with San Diego. And I don't know, they should have gotten Sean Payton in here. Sean Payton with Justin Herbert.
I think that offensive mind fits a little bit differently. It's funny because it's a bigger picture. Brian, one of my favorite episodes so far this year on Talking the Gridirons, we came on 3 weeks ago with all the liquid courage, and you were definitely went on a Chargers rant there. You probably don't remember it, but you did go on a 5-minute rant on the Chargers. If anybody wants to go back and look at it, they should.
I'm gonna check it out.
I know it was probably what, Chargers and Jimmy sucks or something.
Oh yeah, you were feeling yourself that night. You were feeling yourself that night. So that made for a good 25 minutes. But we enjoyed that part of it. Terrell, I see you look at the game. Give me a quick update here, real quick, on our game. It's
17-10. 17-10. Philly just punted it to Miami. 7 minutes left in the third quarter. Jalen Hurts is looking suspect.
All right.
This is like two weeks in a row with him not looking very good.
He's had 1 year where he did decent and went to the Super Bowl. Other than that, he was going to lose his job. I'm just saying, man. He was going to lose his job.
Jordan, are you anti-tush? Was it tush push? Whatever this stupid play of the Eagles. Are you anti
like
that?
It's going to get outlawed by the NFL at the end.
I'm all for it. I have some coaching experience myself, and if it gives you the yards, then to go and fucking get it. I mean, there's no reason not to.
Player safety.
I can't imagine pushing a quarterback in.
I hear you on that one. Hey, real quick, I'm player safety. Put 9 in the box. The last thing on the Chargers is real funny to me that they have always kind of struggled with this, like in terms of like just the way, like even with Marty Martineau, who's supposed to be like their main guy, like slow ball, they lose games. Now they got a fast quarterback or a coach that goes for it, and they still kind of blow games. It doesn't really matter what style this team has; they kind of figure out a way to blow it regardless. All right, hey, question of the week here, brought to you by Row One Brand. Who is the most disappointing quarterback in the NFL so far this season? Brian, you got one?
Daniel Jones.
No, he's the most one for you. Terrell, you got one maybe that sticks out? Maybe the most disappointing quarterback for you this season?
I guess I could say Derek Carr, too, because I hyped him up.
Can I go Jimmy G, the guy on your hat?
Carr's got a big injury that he's pushed to put him in the category.
I like that one, Brian. I like that one, Brian. I like that one. Sorry, my internet's a little wacky right now. It's kind of going in and out, I think, a little bit on you guys, but hopefully you can still hear me pretty well there. Jordan, I didn't hear you on yours. Who you got for most disappointing quarterback?
Man, for me, it's between Deshaun Watson and Kirk Cousins. They're both playing kind of like guard. One's non-existent, can't be on the field, and the other one had so much talent around him and such high expectations that I'm actually dumbfounded about their record and just how kind of everything's going together over there in Minnesota.
It's kind of crazy out there for you. Terrell, who'd you have over there too?
It's Jalen Hurts. It's Jalen Hurts. He's supposed to be making that next step. He's got more interceptions after the first 6 weeks than he had all of last year already. He doesn't look the same. The team is still basically the Eagles. They're still winning, but he doesn't look like that MVP dominant type player anymore.
But you gotta look. People know how to play him now. When you come out and you razzle dazzle the league, and it happened to Joe Burrow too. But throwing 50.
He was hurt though.
Work anymore.
Yeah, he is hurt. Yeah, that's the only thing that we'll see as the season moves on here with Hurts. That's kind of an interesting joint, Terrell. I like that one. All right, hey, as we get through news and notes here,
Watson was my second choice. So I'm with you.
Watson. I like we talked about earlier. I don't even know what the heck's happened to him. Just completely. I haven't played for a while at the beginning, but I don't know. Well, he just looks like nothing anymore. Not for like what he got paid. News and notes, third quarter of the pod here. Lions. They get blown away here in an awful loss to the Ravens in that AFC North. Wow. Let me ask you this, Jordan. Does this win mean the Baltimore Ravens are legit contenders, or does this loss have you questioning Detroit more? Kind of where would you stand on that line?
I question Detroit more as an AFC North fan and resident. We've seen this from Baltimore before, so I'm not jumping for joy for them just yet, because you see big wins from Baltimore, and then you see crappy performances the next week. So I question what the hell is going on in Detroit more than anything.
And of course, they get the Raiders next week. That should help them get back on track on Monday night. Of course, my Raiders get them after they get just absolutely destroyed. They'll be highly motivated. That's just usually how it works out. Brian, how do you feel about that?
I'm gonna say more. I'm disappointed in the Lions, because you got to somewhat show up to this game. I mean, you just it's like basically you better take a plane back to Detroit. You know.
This is like one of those where it's like burn the tape type of things. Terrell, what do you got?
I'm saying it's both. Both are the right answer, because in the AFC, watching the Bills lose, Kansas City played the Chargers, and it was too close for me. And the Bengals, who I think still will make the Super Bowl, are coming up. I think the Ravens winning this type of game makes them definitely a contender, because the AFC is losing that star power that they had before. And in the NFC, the Lions are still the Lions. This is a game that they had to show us, and we didn't really think they were going to show us. They're still the Lions. It's the 49ers and everybody else right now.
And they still have the win over Kansas City. I mean, you can't take everything away from them yet.
I mean, without Kelsey first week, I mean, whatever.
That's true. I did forget Kelsey. Kind of forget.
And then I gotta be honest, it was before Swift was showing up for the game.
Yeah, it was Swift. The Swifties are now in the town. We got everything going. I feel like Goff for me is just a little step below. I don't know. That's kind of, he feels stiff out there. It's like he's a local guy out here in Northern California, so I'm always rooting for him. But like I just sometimes I don't see it in like a big. And then like when I was watching the Ravens a little bit today, Lamar Jackson is like how we've always say, like, you see moments where you're like, what the heck kind of throw was that? Like, it's like 9 feet to the right on just an easy like screen pass. And then he'll like run around for 14 seconds like it's mad. And you're like, yeah, you can't stop that. Like, it's like you just can't. And that's what he was on today. And so like, I feel like that's where he's kind of like, he just, like we've talked about, like Terrell, like on your show too, is like, that's why we just can't have him in that next level yet, because like he just can't prove that he can throw an accurate ball enough here. So it'll be interesting in your AFC North here, where the Ravens lie with it. I'm interested. You guys both said the Lions. If they lose to the Raiders next week, you are in deep. You are in deep. You cannot lose by 40 or whatever that was, and then lose to the Raiders. Terrell, that you cannot. Loses all.
They're not throwing the flag on that. Like, come on. He got manhandled.
The Eagles have gotten every call the whole time. It's crazy.
It's 7-0. All penalties going Miami.
All Miami. Oh my gosh. And then they got the Phillies now in the NLCS. I hope they lose tomorrow. Like, this is ridiculous. Some of this Phillies crap we got. Shout out to shout out to your producer Jared there, the baseball guy. There,
he likes the Mets like me.
He's still a baseball guy, though. I got to shout about it. He's still a baseball guy.
And he'll be back on my show next week, Daren.
There you go. We got to get him on there. All right, so Lions, you get the big loss to the Ravens there. All right, I got real quick here, news and notes. I was down in Mendocino, Mendocino County, on the coast here by Fort Bragg, if you're familiar with that. But that game was on Thursday night. Saints, yes, big loss. Right, UW, the personal vendetta as a Raiders fan against Derek Carr. They couldn't get it done on offense at the goal line. The Jaguars, I would say, legitimately hold on to get this W. I don't know what to even make of this, like, this team. I mean, I guess it is what it was. Brian, what do you got from watching this game Thursday night?
Yeah, I don't know. I expected a lot more from the Saints this year. They just like last year, they disappointed me. Yeah, I don't know.
Why were you expecting so much? Like, that's the thing. Like, and even Allen says it out. He says they're frustrated that Carr and the wide receivers haven't been able to get on the same page.
Because they had such a cake schedule. And it's like,
yeah.
Terrell, I know you were big on the Saints a little bit here. What's your making of them?
I mean, I've learned a few things right now. Okay, the first thing I've learned is Derek Carr and all the posts that I sent you of him being so buff, he's on steroids. Because I've never seen Derek Carr running down the field, cussing out wide receivers and going all ballistic and crazy. He was out here cussing out Olave. I mean, going crazy on the sidelines. That's the roid rage, and that's why he was big old Derek Carr. Sorry to put him on blast streak, but it was. They can still win the division. But Derek Carr, road rage.
He's known to never cuss. That would be a big deal. That would be road rage. He's known to never cuss here, Jordan. What do you make of the Saints stumble here a little bit?
I think it's in Derek Carr's health. I think they need to shut down, get Jameis Winston a game plan together, get Hill going, and see what they really got. But I think it's completely on Derek Carr's health, because you look at how he started before the injury, and they had a lot of optimism, a lot of pop, but just post-injury right now, the timing looks even worse. And like you said, you're seeing Derek Carr do things we haven't seen him do in the last 8 or 9 years, realistically, cussing out people, being roid rage. I mean, but he knows it's his last chance too. And this won't be his last game, but this will be his last start. So I think he's going to have a little bit more passion, but I think it's on his health, man. Something's not right.
He needs to figure out what happened, Brian. Give me the update here.
Linebacker picked off Jalen Hurts and ran it into the end zone.
Let's go. I'm going to get it up here. I'm going to get the
interception 8 by Hurts.
Savages, you're out there. You got to tune in, man. Tune in. Your Eagles blowed them. We got to get that on live here. So we got, and that doesn't help my fantasy team at all. Jalen Hurts getting picked off there with him. That's all right. Nobody cares about my fantasy. All right. Hey, so Dennis Allen, the Saints, they end up, like you said, ripping on him a little bit. Carr, there's a reason, ladies and gentlemen. I called him check down Carr for a reason.
Because his shoulder's still messed up, dude.
Oh, that's a 7-year shoulder issue then.
Just like Jordan said, at the beginning of the year, he was chucking the ball. Olave was killing. Mike Williams was still doing things. They were doing things. Now Kamara's getting 25 dump-offs because he can't throw the ball down the field.
I'm just telling you, like I told Saints fans, I said, just expect 9-8 or 8-9. I mean, that's what you're getting. So, like I said, that's what they look like.
I mean, that's still a playoff spot in the NFC South.
I get it, but it's still not good football. That's my main point with it.
Are we talking about the Raiders or the Saints?
We talk about both teams probably. That's why the Raiders are I'm not willing to admit it. Out here in the Bay Area, they were called the 8-8.
Like you were this close from Jimmy being shut down for the whole year.
He's playing next Monday night. That's what Adam Schefter reported. You believe that? Come on, that's what he said. He's playing.
What's wrong with his back? Jimmy G's
back again. Yep, his back again. Eating too much Subway.
All those special houses offering free services. That's why
the investments there with it. The investments. It's all about investments, Terrell. That's the key. Jordan, let's stay your AFC North here one last time. Steelers and my guy Rev, if you're out there listening out in Colorado. Here we go. The Steelers, they do it again. They get a win when they do not deserve to win games. They do not deserve these wins, and they get them, Terrell. I do not understand how this team. It's the most annoying team in the history of my lifetime. They frustrate me. I'm sick and tired of them winning these games. Like they're always solid, and I'm jealous of all the aspects that I wish my team had. They had no reason to win it. And even when they looks like they don't get the first down, what is it? The Rams are out of first timeouts, and of course they can't challenge. And then we have the Steelers hold out to win. You probably know this like Jimmy does as a Bengals fan. I'm curious to get your thoughts as we have another Bengals fan on. Of just the Steelers in general, and then if you want to comment on this game too, go ahead.
The Steelers in general, I think they're still on a decline. I don't think they have a franchise quarterback set in stone. They have aging defense. You look, a lot of guys are in their 12th, 13th year. I don't see a lot from them. Now, as for the annoyance, like you said, holy shit, man! There's some of these games they shouldn't win, but they keep grinding it, and that's kind of been the Steeler way. Even when Big Ben was there towards the end of his career, Mike Tomlin's still a solid head coach. So I mean, they have a lot of pieces there together. I'll give them a little bit of props, but they're my most hated team of all time.
Who's the most annoying Steelers player for you? Who's the most annoying Steelers?
Most annoying Steelers player? To me, it's between I watch so much, but
Hines Ward, maybe is he gonna?
I gotta say Big Ben, man.
Hines Ward back in the day. I mean,
that divisional playoff game. How did he grab his ankle to stop the Colts player? I mean, how did that happen?
The Steelers magic. I don't know how they caught a freaking ball in 1972 that bounced off somebody's helmet that went 40 freaking yards, and they called it back.
Troy Polamalu was probably the most annoying player.
I can see that.
They brought him in to block on goal line plays to be a fullback sometimes, and as a Bengals fan to see him dominate both sides of the ball, that's just annoying. And he always got the interceptions against Palmer late in the game.
I can see that. I can see that being an annoying team here for sure. As I bring up the game here of the Eagles Dolphins here on the screen, give you guys a little shot at the game as well on it. All right, so the Steelers again, like I said, pull it out on a play like it just doesn't make any sense. The Rams, a big loss for them standings wise, though. If they have any, a lot of people had them getting that 7 seed. Brian, we both had them getting this. Terrell, you had them kind of near there, as well. I just feel like that's a big loss for them standings wise. So let's see what happens there when it's a home team. Real quick here, Broncos. Kareem Jackson again gets ejected for another hit here on the Packers today. Gets ejected in the fourth quarter there. I don't know. I not every big hit if it is illegal, but I guess my question is, and we saw it, Brian, with your Niners a week ago when they got flagged and they looked at it, they're like, oh, that's not actually helmet to helmet. It's just, to me, any contact that looks massive, it's gonna be thrown. Like, I don't know. To me, that's kind of the main thing.
I couldn't believe he got thrown out of the game. I mean,
it's because of reputation, right? It's got to be.
Ron Artest.
Yeah. I mean, what do you make, Jordan, of like that, like the whole NFL getting a little softer thing with it, or is this like good? I don't know. Like, I guess like I want hitting, but I'm just noticing that every time there's a big hit, it's just we're getting a flag pretty much no matter what, and then we'll just look at it later.
I think it's getting too soft league wise, and and it seems to be the ones they do flag are a lot of the times it's game turning. A defense makes a big play or a big turnover, a big hit that causes something, and you looked and there's the flag, and that kind of turns the tide and takes everything away from it. I think the officials have way too much power right now than we've ever seen. So I think we're getting really soft. And even Tom Brady came out where he was babying a lot of his time in. Even Tom Brady's commenting like, this is too much. And you got Tom Brady saying this is too much. There might be something to it. So
even K1 Alexander from the Saints said he thinks we'll eventually be using flags for the NFL. Flag football.
They got the flag football in the Olympics now, right? That's what they were joking. They might be able to go to that. I just think Terrell is kind of over the top with this. It's just I remember Madden 2000, like the whole 1 minute introduction was just people getting blown up. Like literally, if you look it up, like literally, it was 1 minute of just people getting unloaded on, and that was the introduction of the NFL 2000.
I mean, what Shannon Sharp and them had a show, what was called Jacked Up every Monday.
I remember that.
But then they changed it to Come On, Man.
No, that was it was Tom Jackson and Chris Carter. That's what it was. Tom Jackson. Right. Jacked Up. Yeah, that was an awesome segment there. Like, and that's what I mean. Like, that's part of the game. We're not talking headshots, cheap shots. Like that, all old school guys even rip on that stuff. You know what I mean? So they're not ever condoling that. So all right, here if we get through it. That was my news and notes segment here, Jimmy. That was for my guy Nico out there. Broncos, they get the W. Nico, congrats on your win there. Hey, Terrell, at least we get his Nuggets start on Tuesday against your Lakers. So Nico, you're out there. Hello, smack out too.
I won't watch it until Christmas.
That makes sense. I believe you. That's when the season starts. They say out there.
I might watch more now with your other show. What is it?
Yeah, I'll keep you entertained with that.
I like that, yo. I like that. You're making me want to watch the NBA.
Hey, come home, Variety Sports Network, your home for an hour of basketball talk a week. We'll give it to you. We'll give you the update with my guy Doug there, who also does the Sunday morning tailgate here with Jordan. All right. Oh yeah. Before we get to the fourth quarter here, there was 2 other games. Cardinals, you lose to the Seahawks. All right, that's what 20-10. Raiders, you lose to the Bears. This is I need to go off for just a second, gentlemen. 30-12 here. I mean, the fact that you're going to take a loss like this and start a 12-year veteran or 14-year veteran, I don't care what kind of veteran he is, and he came out the same year Mark Sanchez is coming on. You're starting him in a game? Play the rookie. Let's see what he got to. Let's lose by 30 that way. Why are we playing Hoyer in any world whatsoever? And again, we have a Division II. I wish Jimmy was here for the Division II knowledge. Shepherd out of Shepherd College. He gets the win again, and he looks great, and they can't stop the run. We cannot stop the run at all. This team is like Terrell said with his Commanders is an utter disgrace. It's pathetic. I'm so tired of their effort. And Ryan, I'm sorry you held on here with me on the show. This is my good friend out here out in Northern California. He's a Raiders fan with me. Ryan, please comment in with all the rips you have to have right there if you have it. I think McDaniels needs to be fired too. Like, why are we kicking field goals in situations too? It is awful. Like, I don't understand what we are doing at all as a franchise. Mark Davis, congratulations on your Aces WNBA championship. I don't care. Win a championship with the Raiders. I am so frustrated with what we are doing. McDaniels, you are gone. See you later. We have won no playoff games since 2003. It is disgusting. And you lost 2 years in a row to the Bears. 2 straight years you've lost to the Bears. I don't get it. Brian, this is insane. They suck. They suck.
Yeah, this is straight up Bill Romanowski from there.
So don't put Bill Romanowski on me like that. I don't put Bill on me like that.
But I mean, he went off on him today and said this whole organization sucks.
Well, they do. I mean, they absolutely suck. It's got to be. I think it's worse than the Commanders. I think it's the worst franchise in the last 20 years because the Commanders have at least been there more than the Raiders. They made 2 playoff games. Jordan, I think your franchise maybe previously had a debate maybe like 5 years ago being in this discussion like I'm having with the Raiders. So if you're a Bengals fan, you got to feel my pain a little bit during those dog days. I mean, it is like they don't exist. It is just like, what are we freaking doing as a franchise? Like, it is awful to watch. I do not get it. And I'm just like, all my friends get to enjoy Sundays but me. That's what I feel like. I just don't like it. What do you think of the Raiders, Jordan, from a distance like that? Do you have any thoughts on it?
I mean, I was excited for the Raiders, in a preseason and a little bit after the draft. You got the big tight end from Notre Dame to replace Waller's production. You had, you made some good signings. Devontae Adams with a fresh quarterback and a fresh attitude. I was excited. You still got Max Crosby on the other side of the ball. It's got to be coaching, man, because you look on paper and it's not talent. They have all individual talent on all the big skill positions. It's just not coming together. And other than coaching, there's nothing else I can tell you. Even with Jimmy Garoppolo's replacement, even with Hoyer coming in. I
don't think McDaniel should ever be able to coach again.
No, how does this man get head coaching jobs?
After trading Jay Cutler for Orton in Denver, I mean, that trade was abominable back in the day.
And then what was in like 5 weeks? I mean, this is serious matter, but within 5 weeks, we lost back-to-back first-round picks. One of them to a car accident, obviously led to somebody dying. And then the next week, Arnett from Ohio State pulled out a gun on video, and he's got like they just blow every first-round pick. They don't ever they just always have it. So I'm just sick and tired of the Raiders and their effort they're putting up with. And even like I said, I need Terrell. We said it. We need to do what the Bengals did. We need to get the first-round pick, and we got to get a Burrow on our team. What's going on Sunday night? I see the reactions, Terrell. Give me the play-by-play of what we're seeing. 24-17 Eagles, I see.
Eagles just scored a touchdown. A.J. Brown broke 2 tackles to score against my fantasy team. And I'm going against –
Are you losing?
And I hate the freaking Eagles. So
the only thing that the Raiders could hope is that Tom Brady takes over as the owner and Mark Davis steps down.
No, Tom, he doesn't have Giselle, buddy. He can't get the team. He doesn't have Giselle. He doesn't have that type.
He can make it work.
I think it would be a culture change if Brady was the owner.
Oh God, that would make me sick if he was the owner. Yeah, that made me sick.
Naughty part owner.
I know, and that makes me sick too. Go ahead,
let me ask you: Do they trade the pieces they have? Do you trade Devontae Adams? Do you trade Josh Jacobs? All in for the next couple of drafts? Or
absolutely.
Devontae Adams already wants to get traded. Already, he's running his mouth. He wants to get traded. Jacobs is on a franchise deal. Trade them while their value's high and build that defense. Whoever your defensive coordinator is, I don't know who it is, Daren. Yeah. He should be your head coach because that defense elevated way higher than anybody thought they would be this year, especially in that division. Your defense and Max Crosby.
Yeah, he's a beast. I'll give you that. I would trade him.
In the locker room, that's going to make you work.
Adams dropped the ball in the end zone today. Not excited about that. But without that said, he is still a beast. But his quotes last week here, Jordan, they were like something like, yeah, I mean, I want to win, but I need to get my numbers. Like, that's basically what he said.
But he even talked that way when he was with the Packers, and there were a lot of morning shows that went over that today. He was like, even though I'm playing with Aaron Rodgers, I want to be about my legacy, and that was coming. He said that in Green Bay quite a bit, so it's nothing new.
I'm sure he felt confident with Hoyer coming out there today. He get his numbers today. Had to probably lose all his confidence. Ryan McGurk, I appreciate you tuning in. It was Rip Fest. Continue to rip in the comments. He's a longtime friend of mine with Brian. He lived as a roommate of Brian back in the day.
Ryan McGurk? Is he
Tyler's brother? Tyler's older brother. Yep, Tyler's older brother.
His older brother?
Yep, he's 2 years older than me.
Whose teams is he like?
He's a Raiders. He's like me. He's East Bay area. He's Raiders, Raiders, A's, Warriors, like all that. It's all East Bay when they started out there. So he's with me on it. But now all our teams are moving to Vegas, so they're going. Do
you want Caleb Williams, or what quarterback are you kind of looking at in college right now as a Raiders fan?
I'd be down with Caleb Williams out there. I'd be more than happy with him at quarterback for them. I know he's not the best one out there, but I don't want the other guy I really like too. I used to see him play a little bit more is the guy from Washington. He looks like a stud too. I like him. He looks like a beast. Like he's thrown a few dots. So I don't know. He's the other guy where I'm like, I kind of like this lefty out of Washington.
I just don't know about Caleb. He's just talking too much going into the league. Like, I want to be a part owner. Like, you don't make that call.
It's all ploy. He's saying that to protect his draft stock. There are teams that he doesn't want to be at, and he's kind of setting himself up for it. Kind of like what the Mannings did, when he went.
That still pisses me off too. That thing.
John Elway.
Stanford.
But I'd be looking at the quarterback from Oregon, man. That guy is killing it right now. 5 years NCAA, seen a lot of football.
Bo Nix. I don't know. There's something about an older quarterback.
Bo Nix has been around for 35 years.
I know. It's like Chris Winky Dinky Doo out of Florida State. That's my favorite one. Chris Winky out of Florida State.
Who was the guy out of Oklahoma
State? He's bald
State?
in college. What's happening here?
Who's the guy at Oklahoma State that went to the Browns? He was in college forever, right?
Pryor? No.
Oregon State.
I'm saying Oklahoma State.
Oh, yeah. Brandon Whedon or something like that.
Yeah, Brandon Whedon. He played for the Cowboys and Cleveland.
Yeah, I forgot about it. Brian, good knowledge out there. I sadly think McDaniels wants to be fired. Why on earth do you start a journeyman to play any game? Has been hot garbage for numerous teams, and yet here we are. Yes, exactly. Somehow him and Chase McDaniel still maybe have a job out there as undrafted free agents from there. So that was my Raiders rip. Seahawks, sorry you didn't get anything to talk about this week. 20-10, boring game. All right, Terrell, we've been doing it every week on Talking the Gridiron, Jordan too. What teams can we cross off the list? Now, it's kind of risky because it's still early, but we did go so far. We went Patriots, we're crossing off. They get a W, maybe they prove me wrong. We crossed off the Broncos, we crossed off the Giants, crossed the Bears, Panthers. Is there anybody after this week that we need to be crossing? Like, what I mean by crossing off, it's a harsh cross. This isn't like a 3-4 we're crossing off. There's obviously still in it. So is there a team out there that maybe we need to add? I need to think about adding to the list. I know is the Titans there yet? They had a bye this week. I feel like I can't count them out yet. Even your Commanders, Terrell, are 3-4. I feel like I can't get them. Packers maybe 2-4, but I'm not sure. What do you get? Anybody I'm crossing off the list? The Rams. I feel like I can't cross them off yet either.
You're crossing off the Vikings because they will get their ass destroyed tomorrow.
All right. So the Vikings are dead now, or am I calling it tomorrow? Vikings. All right, I like that. Vikings added to the list. Jordan, anybody I need to add to that list?
I'd put the Packers. Packers lost the game today. They had no business losing. I mean, that's in my mind. I mean, there's something not right there.
Yeah, I mean, you guys show up if you're Jordan Love, and you just, I don't know.
You got me 20 fantasy points.
Yeah. The Vikings are 2-4 though. That's why it's hard to cross. If they win 3-4, I can't cross them off. And then they beat the Niners. I mean, that'd be.
They're not going to beat the Niners.
Oh, Brian can't feel that confident yet, right? Brian, are we there? Right there.
CMC.
Who we got? Let's go to it.
The train of our offense is
Kirk Cousins is always subpar 500. You can't count out the Vikings yet.
He's primetime. He's primetime Kirk, right? Is that what he's known for? No, just kidding.
You like that?
Disappearing in primetime.
Brian is the ultimate confidence guy when it comes to his team. They could be down 74, like 0-74. He's like, we're gonna win 75 straight. I feel we're good. We're gonna get this big back. Brian, is this a dominant win again? I'm assuming on the road again, even without Debo there. Is this just going to be an easy win? Williams is still up in the air of playing. McCaffrey looks like he's going to play though. Is this an easy W for your team, or you actually kind of feel a little nervous?
I feel like people read a little bit too much into Purdy's performance last week, and I feel like he'll bounce back. He's still a good quarterback, and you can't rip. It just was a bad game, and he'll bounce back. And I feel like McCaffrey's going to be out there. You still got IU, Jennings, that Ronnie Bell kid out of Michigan's really good. So,
man, and Mac Jones won this week, so he better show up. He doesn't want to have that rumor keep going. Right? he better show up there. Jordan, I want to ask you this: the spread -7 Niners. How's the spread? Do you think the Vikings are closer than 7, or they win by more than 7?
I think the spread is pretty easy. I would give it a 7. I don't think it's anything above or below that.
What team would you put money on?
Between them?
Yeah.
I wouldn't place it on the Vikings. I love Kirk Cousins, but with Justin Jefferson out, I got to go the other way. I would not put my money on the Vikings.
It's going to be Interception City.
Interception City, baby. Brian feeling confident as ever. Brian, I'm sure you'll be watching that big game between the Phillies and the Diamondbacks tomorrow during that as well. Terrell, who do you got spread-wise here, if you want to add any more to it?
Oh, I got the 49ers winning by way more than 7.
Ooh, all right.
But it's not going to be interception city. It's going to be sack, fumbles, different stuff like that. It's going to be the interior defense of the 49ers, not the secondary.
Do the Vikings soften them up before they come to Cincinnati or not?
Who does the Vikings ever soften up?
You need that for it.
That game is worrying. That game is worrying me a little bit.
In that game,
because
Jamar Chase is an animal.
Jamar Chase is going to kill you guys a little bit on that. Hey, can I get on this same meter before we get to that game? Because I do want to get into it in a second here. Real quick, Jordan. I don't have my Jimmy confidence meter here. He always gives me a Bengals update. I got to get you with it real quick, Jimmy, if he's listening out there. Real quick, Bengals confidence meter here. Where you stood, Jimmy's, Brian, as you know, Terrell, as you know, you watch the show. Jimmy is a loose cannon with his Bengals, right? He's up and down with them. He's emotional with them.
Mostly negative, though.
No, man. My confidence is sky high.
All right.
Last year, we were 4-4 at the break. Right now, we're 3-3. We're right where we need to be. Joe Burrow's getting healthy. The O-line's starting to figure it out with, no preseason now that they've got the snaps in. The defense has got some question marks, the defensive tackle, but the confidence is sky high, baby. You can't count them out.
Jimmy, you hear that? That's a little pep talk for you there while you're sick here under the weather. Believe a little bit, my friend. Believe.
But let's look at it statistically. They have more turnovers right now than they did last year. The secondary is playing young, fast, and efficient. Our draft pick in the second round from Michigan is playing outstanding. He has a 30% completion rating around him. Cam Taylor-Britt's playing lights out. Gave DK Metcalf the game of his life to the point where he was shoving him after the plays. I mean, yeah, Lou Amorello's got the boys going, and Joe Burrow's going to get shit back together.
Jimmy, I'm playing that in the short tomorrow, so be prepared to see that tomorrow on Twitter, folks. That's the call, and I'm going to put Jimmy, get some freaking confidence. That's where you're going to put. Have a good school week as well. That's Jimmy. Shout out to you. He's got fifth graders. He's got to worry about history tomorrow, so I got to shout him. Or seventh graders. He's got to worry about that. So Bengals confidence meter. Terrell, you still having the Super Bowl? You still feel confident with that pick?
I do. Confident meter 1 to 10. I'm going 8.
All right.
I mean, the Bills lost. The Ravens won a game against a team that's supposed to be something, but I'm not really sold on them either. And then you got the Steelers and Browns in the same division. Kansas City doesn't look the same. Kelsey still has to make those plays. And Miami can't win on primetime. I'm just saying, Bengals with Joe Cool doing his thing. We ain't even seen T. Higgins all year. You watch they're all together like Jordan said.
Burrow's the only guy that beat Mahomes in the playoffs.
There is that. There is a little bit of.
I said Burrow's the only guy that beat Mahomes in the playoffs.
Yeah, because the 49ers guy couldn't do it.
Ooh.
We'll put that on Jimmy.
Oh, always a Jimmy roast on there. Hey, look ahead to week 8 here before we call it get to our game balls and call it a show here. Just a quick little look ahead. No buys next week. That's something I kind of thought was a little bit at this point of the year, kind of a standout as well. We got Bucks and Bills. But what happened? Give me an update. What happened? Interception who?
He just intercepted a play in the end zone.
Tua again throws an interception.
Miami win those big games. Buffalo, you can't trust them. Lamar, Patrick Mahomes looking weird. Bengals Super Bowl, baby. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. Here's the matchups that we got. I just got to give her, but we always do a little sneak peek here, looking into week 8 as well. Like I said, Bucks Bills. Let's go prime time first. They get the Thursday night game, Sunday night game. Bears at Chargers.
What were they thinking on that game, man?
And then a beauty, the Raiders at Lions, where I get to see the Raiders hopefully probably get smacked down as well. So I'll get to enjoy that. Hopefully Jimmy will be back, but probably won't make a difference. Those are our prime time games for the week. Bengals Niners, though. I feel like that's the game of the week. Let's get into it real quick. Jordan, you're playing against this on the road, one of the best defenses in the league, just a hard-nosed team. That feels like a tough game, but you're off a bye week. What do you feel like? How we feeling here?
Feeling confident. We're off a bye week. Debo Samuels has already been announced that he won't play that game. Christian McCaffrey's coming off of a game where he was banged up and still has a game to play. So we'll see what the Vikings do with that. Confidence is rattled a little bit. It's realistically Brock Purdy's first regular season loss. So we'll see if that gets into his mindset or not going into Monday night and going against Cincinnati. Cincinnati's defense is starting to turn around and take over margin. I'm confident as ever, man. The Bengals still have a few places they have to really touch on. You know, the run game's still kind of non-existent, but I think everything else is going to take care of itself. It's that defense. That defense is going to win the game in San Francisco.
Brian, let's meet confidence with confidence. You got the Niners, I'm assuming. How you feeling here about the Niners?
Brock Purdy's going to go in that game and pimp slap the whole Cincinnati Bengals organization.
Wow.
Brian is not.
He's going to be like Joe Montana in the Super Bowl against the Bengals.
Oh, yeah. Chris Collinsworth. That's the fact.
You should have to wear a Bengals jersey if you're wrong next week.
Oh, yeah, Brian used to have a Bengals jacket. I gave we always bring it up on the Fat Boy.
I do. It's at home. My parents will have to send it to me, but I have a Carson Palmer Bengals jersey. So
I got to get that. You got to wear that. Got to wear the Palmer jersey. You got to wear the Palmer jersey if they beat the Niners for Jimmy and for Jordan if they end up winning it.
You have to wear a Purdy mask and say it's looking real pretty good, and you're gonna have to say he's not a system quarterback.
Brian,
I already felt my left arm get a little bit numb for you saying that. Let me make sure I'm all right here.
Well said there. Other couple games: Rams, Cowboys. That's a little early game. Saints, Colts, Patriots, Dolphins. Nothing really exciting there. Battle of New York, Jets, Giants. Jaguars, Steelers, your Eagles. You got to take on the Eagles next week. Terrell, the Commanders got them. So that's the matchup there next week. Chiefs, Broncos. So it doesn't really feel like any of the huge matchups, Ravens, Cardinals. But like we said this week, there are some good games along the way. Some big standings games like Colts or Saints are both 3-4. You lose that game, you're looking like in trouble going into the second part of the season here. All right, guys, last part of the show here. Game ball for the week. I got my game ball. I'm going to go first one. I'm giving it to the Bears there. They got the running back there. Foreman comes in. And then my guy here, the rookie quarterback, Division II. Shout out Jimmy. He gets the W here with it. So that's one of my game balls with it as well. I got one more for us, but I'm going to let you guys go first with Brian. Who you got for game ball this week?
I'm going to go Lamar Jackson. He brought his A game against the Lions, and we're definitely questioning the Lions after this.
Definitely. I agree with that. Terrell, who you got for game ball?
My game ball is Myles Garrett. He said, I don't care if Watson plays or not, gets touched by masseuse. I don't care if XFL quarterbacks. I don't care what's going on. I'm going to make a statement, and my team's going to stay in the hunt. And Myles Garrett is a freak. And people don't want to remember how great he is.
Yeah. No, I mean that performance he put on today was pretty legit. All the sack. He even said it maybe was the best game of his career. So he's feeling it. He's feeling himself after that. So I mean, and to block the field goal jump.
Sean Watson or Garrett?
Huh?
Who was doing the film?
I guess both things can be true. There's there. So
and a battle of 4-2 next week: Seattle versus Cleveland.
Oh, big game! That doesn't even feel like. It feels like such a weird matchup. Seahawks, Browns, an old AFC matchup, right? An old AFC matchup back in the day. All right, Terrell, who do you got? Or Jordan, who do you got for game ball this week?
Tyrod Taylor, baby. Just when you think he's away in his coffin, he pops back up like the Undertaker, makes some big plays, gets that team going. I love it.
And that's a good call. They end up getting the W. Like I said, Daniel
scored 14 points, dude. Come on.
They did. They beat your Commanders, though. I like a little salt into the wound as well there with it. Tyler with the comment of the night there. Last one here. Just because if you did have him in fantasy football, congratulations for playing him over Bijan. He probably got you a nice win there, Algier. And when he ended up with 59 yards, 53 yards receiving, career-long 49-yard reception. Thought he had a big part in that game because they did nothing else on offensively, Atlanta. So without him, they have no chance of winning that game. Terrell, where are we at Sunday night update here? Before we get
they just did some more tush pushing at their own 25-yard line, and they got a first down.
More tush pushing. That's the way it is. That's the way it goes.
Time to get rid of that Goodell in the offseason.
You can't get rid of it unless half the league is doing it. You can't get rid of it until half the league does it. You can't take it over. Hey, that's the end of Talking the Gridiron here. Week 7 recap. Jordan, appreciate you coming on tonight. I know you would do the show on Sunday night, the Sunday morning tailgate. Saw your video with the picks this week. I didn't add up how you did, but I know you got I think you had the Bears winning. I think you did have them winning it. So
Browns and Bears ones there.
There you go. But I appreciate you coming on and taking the time. Hopefully we can get you on again here on Talking the Gridiron.
Hey, it'd be awesome to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, be sure to check out the show. You guys been doing the Sunday morning show. With that, I know this week we kind of took a week off with it. I'm sure you guys will probably get back at it soon here. Any other thing you have going on there?
No other things we got going on. We'll be back online with Sunday morning tailgate with myself and Doug and whoever else wants to stop by. So
sounds good. Yeah, and so they got you covered in the morning. We'll get you covered at night here with Talking the Gridiron, doing the post games with it. Terrell, hope to be joining you soon here on Raw. I was just talking to my wife about the other day because I was wearing your shirt at an event, the one you sent me. And so they're like, where'd you get that? And I wore so I was talking about that. I was like, yeah, you gotta check out this pod. I did this guy. So it was cool that you have that. You sent me that shirt with it. I know you guys did the show this Friday. Checked it out this week as well. What do you guys got going on with that? And what's going on with your anything else or any other endeavors you have going on, my friend?
We always got our Relative Sports Talk show during the week, and now I got some family people incorporated with it. It's getting crazy. The Raw show is always the premiere show on Friday nights, because that's when we let all our hair down and we just go at it. You know what I mean? So we got other things in the works, but I mean that's the show. I'm almost at 200 shows. So I definitely want you on for my 200th show, Darren. Definitely want you on for that. You know what I'm saying? You one of my people's show. Yep. Brian, I love you too. I just met you, Jordan, but y'all not at that level yet. No offense. Plus, Brian fantasy football, so I can't give him no love yet. But Darren, you my people's, you know what I'm saying? Relative Sports Out. Honored to be on here with you guys. Love talking with y'all.
Absolutely. Brian, I know you got TMB this week as well.
Yeah, I think we're going to be joining, doing it during the fourth quarter of the Vikings Niners game.
Wow, a little live Brian Johnson during the game. That should be interesting. I'd like to see that there with it. And then next week, I know, like you said, you'll be previewing those Niners Bengal games, as we said. All right, hey, Jordan, appreciate you taking the time to come on. I know you said you stayed up late there. I'm not sure if you're Eastern time or Central. It sounds like you're Central time with it, or is that Eastern time out there in Cincinnati?
It's about 11 o'clock Eastern time here.
All right. West Coast 8:01. Sorry about that. It's only 8 o'clock here, so me and Brian are still there. So appreciate you guys hanging on with us this week. Terrell, you're my guy, man. Appreciate you joining me here this week on Talking the Gridiron. Look forward to kind of joining your show again here soon. So really appreciate you, man. You know that I got you with anything else you need there. Brian, the main man Johnson. We'll see you next week on Talking the Gridiron. My son's into John Cena. He's John Cena for Halloween, Brian. Da, 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 da.
You can't see me.
And just like that,
Brian the main man Johnson. Yeah.
yeah. For Talking the Gridiron, we'll see you next week. Peace.
Yeah, I fellas.
Hey, this is Brandon, CEO of the Variety Sports Network. Thank you again for watching tonight's show.